here we are on the heels of TNA Sacrifice and just a couple days away from WWE's Over the Limit. Sacrifice being this last Sunday, Over the Limit being this coming Sunday. What to watch? Who to watch? Well, let's discuss that a little bit. But first, welcome to John's Wrestling Views. I'm your host, John. Thanks for tuning in. A lot of hardcore TNA fans out there are saying now is the best time more than ever to become best time to be a fan of TNA, of their product, or Impact Wrestling. Mick Foley was just revealed as the network representative who's out there to make Hogan and Bischoff's life miserable. It's almost like it's not really Hogan and Bischoff's company anymore. It's more of Mick Foley's company, as he's a representative of the network. Along with that came the TNA debut of Chyna, as she was revealed as Kurt Angle's mistress in his whole feud with Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett, which led to a tag team match this last Sunday at Sacrifice between the two teams. And then along with that, the return of somebody who's been a big name in the early years of TNA, Wildcat Chris Harris. Chris Harris was one half of the great tag team America's Most Wanted, his partner being James Storm, who is now one half of a current great tag team with Robert Roode as Beer Money. Chris Harris revealed as Matt Hardy's tag team partner for their tag title match on Sunday at Sacrifice. Looking back, for those of you who know of Chris Harris, who's been following TNA, not necessarily since they started, but Chris Harris was there at the beginning. Chris Harris and James Storm, great tag team, America's Most Wanted. They won, I believe, 6 tag team championships together in TNA. They were a heel tag team, they were a face tag team. But the trouble is, one time where they were really rivals, it was James Storm who was a heel and Chris Harris who was a face, as James Storm blinded him with a beer bottle years back and blah blah blah. So it is what it is. Chris Harris tried another heel run. He had a rivalry with Christian for a little while in TNA before, long before Christian went back to WWE and so on and so forth. But it was mediocre at best. It was just Chris Harris whining and complaining, and eventually he left the company, tried working for WWE by the name of Braden Walker. He was just on ECW, lasted maybe 2 weeks, but not very long at all. It's clear that if he wants a name for himself in wrestling, TNA is the place to be, as it is for a lot of names in professional wrestling. But yeah, so it's interesting seeing him and James Storm in a tag team rivalry against each other. Obviously, Matt Hardy and Chris Harris don't have much of a history at all, and then against Beer Money, who's been a tag team for years now and multi-time tag team champions, which Beer Money did win on Sunday. They used the old finisher of America's Most Wanted on Chris Harris. I believe it was called the Death Sentence, to win the match. So, interesting turn of events there. And of course, you aren't going to see the big wrestling return of Chyna and see them lose. And saw Chyna putting on an ankle lock on Karen Angle while Kurt Angle had an ankle lock on... Karen Jarrett, while Kurt Angle had an ankle lock on Jeff Jarrett, and then the tap out at the same time. And one person to really watch right now in TNA is Mr. Anderson, I'd say, though. He won the 25-man Battle Royal last Thursday on Impact, guaranteeing him the #1 contendership for a one-on-one match against the world champion at TNA's next pay-per-view Slammiversary. Well, it came down to Sting and Van Dam at Sacrifice. Sting getting the W in that one. It's going to be Sting and Anderson at Slammiversary. And, before I'd said I was planning on Sting beating Van Dam because it only made sense that Sting had one more rival that they needed to have a pay-per-view match. But now it's kind of the end of the series between the three. It's hard telling who's going to win. Being that it is Slammiversary of the anniversary show of TNA, my money's on Sting. However, I won't be surprised if Anderson wins. Sorry for a kind of inconclusive result there, but that's where I stand right now. But that's TNA. WWE Over the Limit this Sunday, headlined by John Cena defending the WWE Championship against The Miz. And what kind of match? An I Quit match. John Cena, I believe, is at least 3-0 in I Quit matches, may even be 4-0. I know the only ones I can think of, he beat JBL in his first ever I Quit match. Then he beat Randy Orton in an I Quit match, and he's beaten Batista in an I Quit match. Point is, John Cena's never lost an I Quit match, and I don't really see The Miz being the first person to give John Cena the L in that kind of type of match. When it comes to John Cena and Over the Limit, it makes sense that he's in the I Quit match. Should be a great match, don't get me wrong, but there's only one man who's going to say I quit, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be The Miz. But I'm interested. What's The Miz going to do after this? They can't keep a John Cena-Miz rivalry going. They're have to have something to do. And who's up next for the title? I'm thinking maybe Alberto Del Rio feud with Cena for a while. Be kind of a weak rivalry in my opinion. But, you know, Alberto Del Rio, I don't like him, but he's talented. You got to give a man that. And then on the other side in Raw, the other big Raw match that's really noted of is Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler again. This time in a Kiss My Foot match, where the loser has to kiss the winner's foot. And then, if Michael Cole wins, Jerry Lawler's personally going to induct Michael Cole into the Hall of Fame and give Michael Cole his Hall of Fame ring from 2007. There's no way Michael Cole's going to win this match. Jack Swagger just turned his back on him on Monday. I'm not saying to plan that Swagger's always going to have his back turned toward against Michael Cole. You know, maybe he's trying to fool the fans, but, you know, Michael Cole's won twice now. It'd make no sense at all for Michael Cole to win 3 times in a row against Jerry Lawler. Come on, cut Jerry Lawler some slack. I mean, I know in past John's Wrestling Views videos I've said there's no way Michael Cole's going to win. Well, WWE's proved me wrong so far, but come on, don't give up King's spot in the Hall of Fame. You know, that's not going to happen. And then the other big match to watch is Kane and the Big Show defending the Tag Team Championship against CM Punk and Mason Ryan of the Nexus. CM Punk, truth be told, is unhappy with the company right now. He doesn't like his position. WWE's trying to sign a long-term deal with him for several years, as his contract's going to expire sometime this year. CM Punk, not really interested. So there's rumor going around that he's going to be leaving the company once his contract expires. You know, TNA will take him again, probably. You have a great name there. Maybe WWE's way of keeping him in the company is giving him and Mason Ryan the tag team titles. Who knows? I mean, it would add some championship gold to him, so who knows? But at the same time, Kane and Big Show haven't been tag team champions that long. And in reality, I don't really see how they can lose to Punk and Ryan. Should be an interesting match. Not necessarily a great one, interesting. R-Truth and Rey Mysterio, the other Raw match for Over the Limit. R-Truth is clearly more involved with the rivalry with John Morrison. Well, Morrison's injured. What can we do to give him something? Well, let's put him against Mysterio. I guess it is what it is on that one. The other thing being Randy Orton and Christian for the title. Many people upset about Christian losing the title just 5 days after winning it. Those of you who commented on my video last week kind of told me the same thing amongst talking about China coming to TNA. Yeah, not a lot of people happy with the fact that, hey, let's have Christian lose the title after his first title run. Let's only have him technically hold it 2 days. I really don't see Christian getting the title back here unless they're wanting to do a back and forth rivalry, which would be awesome. The two have the ability to put on a great match against each other. Let's see what happens. But WWE's Over the Limit this coming Sunday. Slammiversary still next month. A lot can happen, and I will be in here as shortly as I can, giving my views of Over the Limit when I can. But until then, thanks for tuning in. I'm John. Have a good one.